Welcome to my YouTube channel Kadam Academy. In this part, we are going to study the steps in value analysis. But in previous two parts, we have studied the value analysis, value engineering, historical perspective, and friends, the actual what is value and types of values and functions. In this video, the value analysis steps we are going to study. The value analysis is an organized procedure for efficient identification of unnecessary cost. Value analysis contributes to improve profitability. Hence, it can be applied at any time in the stage of product life cycle or in after the product is developed. Okay, we want to modify the product. How to do that? Various steps we have to follow. Value analysis procedures we have to follow. What are those procedures? We'll study one by one. Hence, under the steps, we are going to start with the orientation. Orientation phase. This phase involves identification of problems very clearly, selection of projects, formation of teams, laying down the objectives and target and depth training of all team members. It can be represented as the orientation phase. Okay. This select, establish, plan, and appoint, prepare, review, and fix the responsibility to. This is the orientation phase. Okay. So under this orientation, we have to give the all the training, and we have to prepare one team. First, we have to select the team, and after that, establish the priorities and plan it, appoint for the and prepare, review, and give the training to them. So that is the orientation phase. So after this orientation phase, the information phase. What is the information phase? After clearly identifying what is to be accomplished by this team, all relevant information like drawings, technical specifications, manufacturing processes, detailed costs, breakup, performance or failure reports, previous reports, okay, the quality, what the quality we required, were standards or procurement or production problems. What are the problems maybe occur during that information we have to gather. In short, it is a collection of data from different resources. First, we have to identify the facts, assimilate facts into required form, and that is nothing but the information phase. The next phase is the functional analysis phase. In the functional cost and worth analysis, nothing but the it's a functional cost worth analysis. This phase involves the analysis and identification of functions. Okay, here what we studied in part 2 video, that will be here implement. What it can be represented as list the components of hardware, or to prepare the verb noun description of the functions of each assembly and component. If the product having assembled products are there, then each assembly and component we have to prepare it, their verb and noun, and establish the cost of essential functions. That is important trend here. Estimate the worth of each functions and estimate worth of each essential function, cost of each essential function, and lastly we have to determine value improvement potential of that your product. Okay, so this is nothing but the functional analysis phase. What we do here, we have to define the what are the actual basic function and secondary function with their cost of essential function and worth of essential function. So this is the functional analysis phase, very important phase. Creative phase. In this phase, this is the essence of the value engineering. What? Essence of value engineering. All the possible alternatives are generated. This can be achieved by application of brainstorming. Here what we have to do, brainstorming session. For what purpose? To creative techniques in order to generate a large number of ideas for providing the functional requirements. This can be actually represented in short. How I will tell you. We have to conduct creative problem solving, brainstorming sessions. What we have to do? Brainstorming sessions we have to conduct on that each and every whatever the function you have defined for the detailed product and assemble their parts. Okay, then generate the ideas, combine and rearrange them to provide different ways to accomplish basic functions. So we have to options, create the options by the after brainstorming, and that is the creative phase. In this phase, completion of this phase, next is the evaluation phase. In this phase, the possible alternatives developed are analyzed. After the 2-3 options or number of options, we have to analyze, and the cost of each idea is estimated. Cost calculation is very important here. For that, each product, the whatever the cost value. Okay. Then after evaluation of all points of the solution is carried out, the critical evaluation must be there. Okay. The ideas which promise greatest saving are pinned and shortlisted using the techniques like feasibility rankings. We have to make it a ranking. Okay. So what we studied here, we have to shortlist the creative ideas, develop the ideas functionality, evaluate ideas according to their relative cost reduction potential, rank, we have to make the ideas ranking alternatives according to their relative cost and reduction potential. That is important. And lastly, select one or more alternative for development. So we have to select here after this evaluation phase the one or more alternatives for development. Okay. So this is the evaluation phase. Next is the investigation or development phase. Here, generally, what we'll do, if phase shortlisted ideas are one or more ideas are shortlisted, again investigate in depth. Where to investigate, only focus on those where selected ideas in depth to arrive at optimum and practical solution. This can be do it in step. Again, I will repeat it. Analyze the alternatives for technical adequacy. What is their technical adequacy and the cost benefit? A certain economic feasibility of alternatives. And again, we have to arrange necessary test runs. Whatever the test runs are required, that we have to develop it in the development phase or investigation phase. That is the important here. And lastly, we have to again select one or two alternatives from the recommendation. After the investigation and feasibility, economic feasibility, we have to finalize again one or two alternative phase. So after the finalize testing on all these optimum practical solutions, analyze, and where to finalize one or two alternative solutions. Next is the presentation phase. In this phase, selected alternatives after the investigation or development, they are presented to the decision maker for approval and implementation. It can be now, I will again repeat, we have to prepare a report of value change report proposal for that product with their detailed report and make a presentation to decision maker. Who is the decision maker? Higher authority. They will say yes, then you can go ahead. So you can implement and submit a plan for action and secure for a approval for implementation. So once it is approved by the higher authority, the next phase is implementation phase. What we have to do in the implementation phase? We have to installation of improved method or improved product. We have to implement it. As a result of all the above phases, from first orientation phase, information phase, functional analysis phase, creative phase, and evaluation, this phase, this investigation, development, presentation phase, implementation phase. Lastly, what will the your follow-up phase? Okay, this is the last stage which compares the results with original expectations and suggests corrective action in the approach for the next project. So what I have said, follow-up phase is very important, friend. Here, the follow-up phase that will audit what is the going on, your what implemented project, the savings, and compare the results with the original expectation. Already you have planned what to do and what is the results you already decided. According to that, you are achieving or not. That deviations is there, or what that way you have to find out. The original expectation are achieved or not, that way to audit it. And again, submit the cost saving achievements reports. After this, you will observe that you will be cost saving achievement reports. So you have to submit to management higher authority and evaluate the effectiveness of the approach. And this approach is perfect or not, that we have to evaluate. Suggest the changes, the corrective action in a approach for the next project. So that is important. And lastly, recommend the awards for the contributors to value engineering proposals or value analysis proposals. After this, whatever the team working for this one, that must be awarded after the successfully increase in the sale and successfully increase in the reducing the cost. So these are the steps. If you follow, it will be beneficial to you, and these are the very important nowadays in the industry. Thank you very much. If you are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.